Hello, hello, ladies. Welcome, Women Uncuffed. There's so much excitement happening right now. And you may be thinking, why is this girl so excited amidst a pandemic? Because I know there's a lot of living left, guys. Listen, I want to, in my world, you don't stop until it's over, and it's not over, right? So, what I mean by that is, I've been gifted with the ideas that every woman everywhere, she owes it to herself to live a life that's uncuffed, that's meaningful, to have businesses, to build legacies, shifted, and supposed to develop and share those gifts with the world. She is designed to change the environment in which she exists in, and she is supposed to uncuff. I am Capri Smith, the Uncuffed Living Expert. I'm also the Senior Director and Mary Kay. I manage the Uncuffed Boss Beauties, and I have a few things happening right now. So as I'm getting situated, I wanted to go ahead and reintroduce myself to some, and for some, if you're seeing for the first time, introduce myself. I am a retired police detective for 20 years. I'm a criminologist in that I teach future criminal justice majors at a wonderful university here in Maryland. So honored to be on the staff as an adjunct professor. I am also a coach to women. I help them uncover their lives, their businesses, and to build their legacies. Moreover, I am a girl who is just not living her best life, but living the life, and it doesn't matter, like the circumstances don't matter to me because I know gifts every day that comes from living. I encourage you guys to connect with me and to follow this 24 Uncuffed challenge. The purpose of the Uncuffed challenge is to demonstrate just snippets of what I've culminated to become this uncuffing system. My clients end up making their own businesses better because they release things that have been holding them back, things they felt obligated to do. I teach them how to follow my 5 principles of loving God first, allowing Him to use you, honoring who you are without changing too much. Trust me, there's some work to be done. We'll get it done. Community give back. This is the big piece. Sometimes we don't have clear boundaries because we're not sure of how we should be making our environment better. I train you on how to do that. The next is to stretch every day. Doesn't matter the day, doesn't matter what's going on around you. You have to continue to stretch and keep going. And then just to live uncuffed. So all those ideas and goals mean nothing if you can't put them into action. That is what I do. That is my system. And I encourage you to follow me on YouTube for the 24-day uncuffing challenge. And you can discover the rationale behind it and all of the other things. So today we're going to talk about why is it important that we keep going. We're focusing on uncuffing in our lives. Ultimately, we're going to do 3 things: uncuffing our lives, businesses, and legacies. We are discussing why it's important to keep going no matter what we think is happening, because one, we know we're not in control. Secondly, we're supposed to keep going. It's like we are the motivators of the world. So I'm a motivator of the world. So if I were to stop uncuffing women at a time when it needed to be uncuffed the most, it would not make me or them feel good, right? This is my part. It's like the milkman should continue to make milk. The grocery store should continue to stay open so people can buy food. We have DJs that are going viral because they're doing online DJ parties. We have people selling their products and they're being extremely creative about how they're doing that and what that looks like to them. And that's symbolic of them not stopping. So I commend anyone willing to put themselves out there and just to go all the way for it. You know, with every session, I'm going to introduce an important topic and I'm going to move right into giving you some of my favorite Mary Kay products. I encourage you to follow the challenge if you are not already connected. Now, if you are here, let's talk about what it means to uncuff today and why you should keep going. Today, we are going to delve into one of the bigger issues that women are challenged with today. And I love that we deal with it differently than masculine people or people with masculine energy. And what I mean by that is we realize quickly our expertise means something, right? And we're going to talk about what it means to be an expert in the field and what it really does not mean. We're going to talk about why there are so many women who claim to be coaches and mentors, and some of them don't even have actual clients. We're going to discuss what expertise looks like in this time and age. We're going to talk about the imposter syndrome, and it's not what you think it is. And we're just going to dig into some uncuffing our lives. Let's go. The first thing I want you to know is experts. What makes a person the expert? Does it mean that they've done many things in life, that you've used over and over, that you've applied them in your life and they've worked to change some things, and now you are trained and you're able to train other people? Being the expert could be the expert in nail drawing, like acrylic nails, getting your hair done, doing hair. It could be the expert in speaking, writing, whatever that skill set is that you perfected that has made a difference in your life is the thing I want you to focus on. Being an expert, it has nothing to do with your degree. Some people are experts and don't have degrees. Now, degrees are important to help solidify you, but in life, it's not a court of law. You guys know I'm a retired cop, so I'm going to make many references to it. It's not a court of law. You don't have to qualify yourself as the expert before you can teach about a thing. Before I realized and understood uncuffing myself, I was sharing my ideas. I was sharing my strategies. I was sharing the things that worked for me. That made me the expert. This is how I became the uncuffed living expert. I became the uncuffed living expert because I tried, I erred, I tried again, became the expert, and then taught others. It means nothing. Your lessons in life mean nothing if you're not willing to share those lessons with other people that you're supposed to share them with, other people in your tribe, other people that you want in your tribe. What I mean, guys, is you've got to be very careful about who you're calling tribal members and who's in your clique. And if you're only willing to share insight with people that are in your clique, that's not fair. Now, understand you are and should be connecting with people that you're designated to connect and help, but don't cut yourself off. Don't be shy to train someone that kind of rubs you the wrong way or irritates you. Don't be shy. Don't run from them. Don't retreat. All right. So being the expert simply means you have a unique set of skills that you can help and train others, either because you've tried it yourself and it worked. For me, when I began to train women on uncuffing, things happen. They saw their circles changing. They saw their life of abundance happening in real time. They began to up level. They stopped showing up for free. They stopped devaluing themselves. They recognize their skill sets as unique. So that's why I don't even worry about who tries to copy what I do, because they will never be able to be me. No one can ever do things the way you would do it. So don't even worry about if they're going to copy it. So the first step in discovering what expertise means to you is doing the self work and realizing what skill sets do you have. If I gave you homework right now and asked you, what skill sets do you have? What can you quantifiably teach about? What can you talk about? What are some things that you've done? And you may not have anything come up immediately. But if I asked you, what do you enjoy doing? You would say, oh, I like to knit. I like to cook. Well, guess what? You can become the expert in those fields. This is not 50 years ago when we didn't have social media and people could see in real time what you're working with, right? We're now in the time we have many tools available to us. So decide and do the work, like comb through, do the mind dumping, do the self-evaluating. And the mind dumping was a whole series. I think we did that 2 days ago. Figure out what makes you unique. Write those things down, and then you can begin to streamline them and then begin to turn them into something more meaningful. The second thing about recognizing you as the expert is to recognize that because you are the expert doesn't mean you're to work with everyone. The 10 things that I've done to help me solidify myself as an expert is to make sure I realize that my success is a gift. And it's something that I have to continuously work at. And it's not meant to just stay there and grow stagnant. Sometimes as women, we reach a plateau where we feel like, oh, I've done this amazing thing, so I can stop now. When the reality is you don't ever stop. You always keep going. Think about Tyler Perry. Think about Oprah. Think about Beyonce. Think about Rihanna. They are always reshaping themselves. Think about Ellen. Think about all the greats, right? And the people who stop reaching the women uncuffed in their lives, their businesses, and their own legacies. And the way that I do that is I do these 10 things. I remember them and I keep them in the forefront. You guys know I love to jump up my walls and probably drives my husband crazy, but I love to see my goals in front of me. The first is I understand that diligent work always trumps skill set. Some people, like my children, they are naturally smart, right? But I had to read and work hard at it. I had to gain information, gain knowledge through reading, through trial and error, through regurgitating, through writing, through practice. So diligence will always trump a skill. You could be really good at playing basketball, but unless you are applying that every day, who cares? Diligence. It makes your arrival point much more meaningful. It makes it more impactful for yourself. You appreciate it more. Diligence will always trump skill sets. Whatever it is you want to do or become the expert in, you must stay diligent. And diligence is married to consistency. So this is the way to stay consistent. You plan, you set, you do, you repeat. You plan it, you set it up, you do it, you repeat it. You plan it, you set, you do it, you repeat it. That is the way to stay consistent. And consistency and diligence. They got married. Then they had a baby, and this baby was called time management. Because when you begin to practice this diligent repetition in one area of your life, it's going to automatically transfer over to the other. So one way to manage your time is to write everything down. I love old-fashioned pen and paper. I love using my phone's calendar as a tool. I love desk calendars. There are too many tools out there to help us manage time. You can set alarms for things, for times when you should be doing something, and get those things done during that time. Your time management is going to be the biggest way you can self-sabotage. So let's get ahead of that and really take ownership of our time. I feel like time is sometimes can really get away from us, and it can take ownership of us if we're not careful with our time wasters. So the biggest way to check our time wasters is to manage our own time. And then the next thing, the first is diligence, the second was consistency, the third is time management. The fourth is continue to explore new ideas. This goes along with making sure you're stretching yourself daily. Ties right into honoring your uniqueness. Do something different. We're at quarantine, guys. This is a pandemic. Go plant a garden. Go organize your garage. Organize your closet. Do something different. Make something new. Go put nail to wood and create a new desk. Do something completely out of your normal. Learn Spanish. Learn a new language. Go to Periscope. Travel the world. Do something that's going to make you stretch and explore new ideas, because I particularly like to learn skills that translate to money making activities. So if I were you, I would enroll in a program. I would enroll in hiring a coach and work one to one. I personally am offering VIP days to all of you guys at a wonderful rate. Now is the best time to do it. My VIP days are in person or virtual, but now it will be virtual. But I'm encouraging you to connect with a mentor, connect with someone that's going to help you take your life and your things to the next level. And then the next is what we do much in the Mary Kay, is to follow up, follow up, follow up. Because the fortune is truly in the follow up, and people want to make connections with you and not just be sold to. And just remember, the last is success comes to those who work. Now, what does all of that mean to you? You're doing all of this to avoid the imposter syndrome. That's a new term, plugging, right? You probably have never even heard of it. And that's okay, because I'm going to introduce you to a number of things you probably have never heard of, but I promise you they will change your life, right? For the good. And that's what it's about. The imposter syndrome is an idea that you only succeed because you were lucky and not because you were qualified or talented. Remember, I told you guys, being the expert doesn't mean you have a PhD. It doesn't mean you have all of these degrees. That is a traditional sense of defining expert. The sense that we define it now is that you've done something, you've tried it, you've done it well, and it worked, and you were able to make yourself duplicatable, right? So here we are with the imposter syndrome. Get rid of the idea that we don't deserve to be successful. You know, the fear of success is extremely real, and we understand that we will hide behind success in a number of ways. One is trying to be the perfectionist. We know we have these great expectations of ourselves, and because we have these great expectations, we sometimes will hide behind the idea that if we aren't perfect, people aren't going to buy into it. We can't fail. We can't make the mistake that someone else made. We must be perfect. It doesn't matter how perfect you are. People are always going to have criticisms and suggestions for things that you could do better, instead of focusing all on their own stuff. We don't care about being perfect. We don't care about perfectionism. That's a self-sabotaging trait. You should always strive for excellence, but no one's actually perfect. I picked up You watch the news. I picked up some highly reputable books. It doesn't matter how many times you've gone through editing, you're always going to find at least one mistake, because when you have humans involved, there's always a room, there has to be room for human error. So now we move ourselves to where we want to stay. We want to stay the expert within our fields when we're thinking about imposter syndrome. When we're the experts and we know we're the experts at what we do, that leaves little room for discussion. No one can challenge it. And if they challenge us, we know ourselves, so we know how to discuss and show ourselves approved. So don't become the girl who won't go for it, who won't speak up at a meeting, who won't try something new, who won't write her book, who won't launch her next whatever it is she wants to do because she doesn't think she's expert enough. Don't be that girl, because that will keep you in a position where you feel like you are the imposter. And we don't want to be victim to the imposter syndrome. Don't feel like you have to be a soloist and that it takes everything. You have to be a part of everything, and you're the only one that can do it right. And because if you don't have your hands on everything, it won't happen. You are not that great, in a sense. When we can tell ourselves that we can accept help and that we can give help, we stop operating as an island, and then we grow. We grow our tribe and we grow others. Listen, you're good, but there are others that are good too. Why not all shine bright like diamonds and stars? Why does it always have to be you at the peak shining? We're talking about the types of things that will keep you stuck and the things you want to avoid. To avoid being an imposter, understand you are an expert and you are good enough, and you're not just successful because of luck. You've earned it. You've earned the things. Your life experiences mean something. Your training, it means something. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. We are natural geniuses, right? And I love people like myself that have to work hard at things because we retain it and we have accomplished it. It wasn't given to us, right? Our girlfriend didn't tag team us in and give us a platform. We worked to get to it. So when you have that under your belt, nobody can tackle it because you know what you know when you know what you know. All right. So now, when we're thinking about the imposter syndrome, this idea that we don't somehow deserve success too, it comes from a number of different places. It comes from childhood upbringing. It comes from our parent situation. Maybe your grades were never good enough. Maybe you were always told you weren't good enough. Or it could be the opposite. Maybe you were told you were that great. When the reality is, it would have taken someone that was close to us to say, hey, you're not that great. Slow down. You could be taught something daily. Let me show you this. Because we come out the womb with a thirst for knowledge, but it doesn't mean we come out the womb knowing everything. And confidence is great. However, it is very important not just to be overly confident, but to have that overconfidence or have that confidence backed by something you know. So when you're looking into the imposter syndrome, one way to combat it is to really put in your own work. So it's not enough to just regurgitate someone else's ideas or to do what they're doing because you thought you could do it better or because they had a wonderful idea. That's unfair to you, them, and your tribe. Don't do that. Put in your own self work, and then you know that is your knowledge and training to pass on, and you didn't borrow it from someone else. And if you should borrow pieces of it, make sure you give credit where credit is due. Now, the biggest question I want you to ask yourself as we close it out today is, what are you the expert at? What are you good at that can be translated into a stream of income? Money, monetizing your messages. How do you turn that into something that you can teach others to do that they will pay for? Well, you have to work with me a little more closely. I'm encouraging you to go ahead and schedule your VIP day. But until we do, continue to follow me throughout the 24-day uncuffing challenge, and you will get snippets of how it is I work. So today we are going to close now with knowing it doesn't take 500 years of training for you to be the expert. This is the court of life and not the court of law. You don't have to be qualified through some academia or through how many times you've testified or how well you presented the case. What qualifies you as the expert is the fact that you've learned this trait, it worked for you, and you were able to duplicate that and help someone else change their lives. And this will help us avoid the imposter syndrome. And just promise I always bring you products from my marriage. For why? Because I am introducing you guys a little at a time to what I'm totally in love with. I love our packaging. So this one is our time-wise replenishing serum, at least 7. Let's have a chit chat. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm not doing at 12, at noon, at 1. I'm going to let you know, and that means you have to follow me in order to not miss it. I think, as much as we manage our time, this is one of those times when you have to be gentle with it, and you have to give yourself the authority and power over how you want to deliver. And I am dedicated to delivering during the best times. I want to make sure I'm at my best. And I'm very sensitive to my weather, and my environment is rainy and cloudy here in Maryland. How to make it work. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm putting in our comments. I'm giving you the link to go ahead and get the 24 Uncuffed 24-day challenge to living uncuffed. And what that does is it teaches you, it breaks it down day by day. You have workbooks inside of it. You get to work through your own things and figure out what it is that's holding you back, that's keeping you from that amazing life. How can you stretch yourselves? This is a basic start. You guys know my credentials. I don't have to give them to you. They're right at capricesmith.com. I will encourage you to get the book. I have a special rating for a limited time. It won't always be there. Encourage you to get it. However, you don't have to buy it, right? You could actually win it. And how do you win it? You share this stream, you comment, you tag me, you invite others. This is 24 days of uncuffing. You are quarantined. What better time than to uncuff? All right, guys, until next time, make sure you are that woman that is not only living uncuffed in your life, your business, and your legacy, but you're bringing someone else along. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.